Hidden manipulations, unmasking Munchausen syndrome by proxy. Munchausen syndrome by proxy is a mental health condition where a caregiver, often a parent, intentionally harms or exaggerates the illness of someone they are responsible for, like a child or vulnerable adult. They do this to gain attention or sympathy for themselves, by making it seem like they are taking care of a sick person. It's a form of abuse and can have serious consequences for the victim. Important facts about Munchausen syndrome by proxy (MSBP). Definition: Munchausen syndrome by proxy is also known as factitious disorder imposed on another, FDIA. It involves a caregiver, often a parent or guardian, intentionally causing illness or injury to someone they are responsible for, such as a child or vulnerable adult. Motivation: the primary motivation behind MSBP is to gain attention, sympathy, and a sense of importance for the caregiver. They typically exaggerate or fabricate symptoms and may even subject the victim to unnecessary medical procedures or treatments. Victims: the victims of MSBP are usually unaware of the harm being done to them. They genuinely believe they are sick due to the caregiver's manipulations. Medical professionals: MSBP can be challenging to detect because the caregiver often appears very concerned and knowledgeable about medical issues. Medical professionals may unwittingly become involved in unnecessary tests and treatments. Consequences: MSBP can lead to serious physical and psychological harm to the victim. It may result in unnecessary medical procedures, hospitalizations, and long-term health problems. Treatment: treating MSBP typically involves removing the victim from the caregiver's influence and providing therapy and support to the victim. The caregiver may also need psychological intervention. Psychological evaluation, diagnosis and management of MSBP usually require input from mental health professionals and careful evaluation of the caregiver's behavior and motivations. Legal and ethical issues: MSBP is considered a form of child abuse or elder abuse, and those responsible can face legal consequences, including loss of custody or criminal charges. Munchausen syndrome by proxy, MSBP, can sometimes lead to legal action when it's discovered that a caregiver has been intentionally harming or exaggerating the symptoms of a vulnerable person under their care. When such cases go to court, they typically involve charges related to child abuse, elder abuse, or other forms of harm. Here are some key points about MSBP court cases. Charges: in MSBP cases, caregivers may face various charges, including child abuse, endangerment, neglect, or assault, depending on the jurisdiction and the specific circumstances of the case. Legal process: the legal process in MSBP cases involves investigations by law enforcement and child protective services. Evidence is gathered, and charges are filed if there is sufficient proof of abuse or harm. Court proceedings: MSBP cases are heard in criminal or family court, depending on the nature of the charges. The accused caregiver has the right to legal representation, and the court evaluates the evidence and witnesses' testimonies. Custody and protection orders: in child MSBP cases, the court may issue protection orders or remove the child from the caregiver's custody to ensure their safety and well-being. Sentencing: if the caregiver is found guilty, they may face penalties such as imprisonment, probation, fines, or mandatory counseling or therapy. Victim support: the victim, often a child or vulnerable adult, receives support and care from child protective services, social workers, and medical professionals. Their well-being is a top priority in these cases. It's important to note that MSBP cases can be complex, and legal outcomes may vary depending on the specific details and evidence presented in court. Legal proceedings are designed to protect the well-being of the victim and hold the caregiver accountable for their actions. The most popular case as of this recording would be Kowalski vs. Johns Hopkins $220 million lawsuit, $55 million in compensatory and $165 million for punitive damages. Maya and her family are suing Johns Hopkins, claiming they medically kidnapped her and battered her while being under their supervision. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more content like this, and if you have any questions or suggestions, feel free to leave them in the comments below.